right. Welcome back to the Maximum Edge Sports Wagering Show. My name is John Santucci. Call me Tooch. I got two guys here, man, back again. This is our first show of 2022. We got Sean Higgs. Welcome back to Maximum Edge. And Anthony, of course, my sidekick. And we're going to talk about the College Football National Championship, Georgia, Alabama, and recap a little NFL yesterday, which was odd. The first week 18 ever. So
don't like it.
Yeah, sure felt like it. Black Monday today. Anything strike you, Sean, about yesterday's games? What stood out?
Well, I mean, let's just start the Sunday night game. Everybody's like, "Oh, it'll be a tie. Both teams take lead." Like that is never going to happen. And then literally had a shot to that to happen, and San Diego or the LA Chargers take a knee, like or call timeout. Are you kidding me? Like, how is that guy? Did he get fired today? He should have got canned.
He should have got fired.
I just on that play alone. I mean, and he's had bonehead plays. All right, so that was a wacky game. The Jaguars, I know we just talked off the air about it, like them beating the Colts. But, again, let's look at the quarterbacks of those last couple of games. How do they come back? That's not a team I'm looking to bounce back from a 50-point blowout with no coaching staff, a quarterback who looked like trash the entire season.
Yeah.
And Indy, and really in a must-win game with I like the head coach. The guy's a good head coach. And Wentz is totally wet in the bed. The guy cannot do he could get you there. He needs somebody else he needs somebody to carry him in because he can get you into the playoffs, and then he just terrible game on with season on the line. He laid 2 eggs.
Is the secret to stopping Indianapolis just stopping Jonathan Taylor?
I mean,
that's what the Raiders did the week before.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
but in that spot you had Wentz who didn't practice all week, right?
Yeah.
He was in COVID, then he comes in Saturday like, okay, I'll play. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. I look at it as you're a professional. Unless the guy was sick with it, and listen, you're gonna be tired for a little bit. You get that. You're gonna knock you out for a little bit. But if he was just if you test positive one day and not the next, I mean, let's be honest, he probably didn't have it as a wacky test. So I don't think he was tired. I just think he's not a good quarterback. I thought that team would be a playoff and a quiet dark horse to Super Bowl. Going back to his old coach, solid defense. You got a run game. You got players around them, and you couldn't, whatever.
Complete collapse, late season collapse.
I thought the Eagles got a good deal, got rid of him. Okay, fine. Let's see what happens. But man, he 2 weeks in a row cost your team the playoffs. Cost them.
Yeah. So, Anthony, playoff picture. Anything strike you from yesterday and looking forward to the playoffs in the NFL?
Well, because the Raiders won, now we get to see round 3 of the Patriots and Bills in Buffalo. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. So, I mean, that's like the round 3 heavyweight matchup. But I also look forward to seeing how Ben Roethlisberger stands up in his last playoff appearance. I mean, it's versus the Chiefs, so, I mean, it's going to be interesting. But
I didn't know it might be his last game. I mean, I thought the Ravens were going to knock him out and put him into retirement. And they came out and what happened there? That's another one that was a crazy.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I was all over the Ravens. I'm like, the Ravens are going to win this by double digits.
Yeah.
No way horrible. Even in their losses, I think they had 3 1-point losses, 2 2-point. So they were there every game. And you couldn't knock out a team trying to get to the playoffs. And even they had a slight chance of getting into the playoffs if they wanted.
Yeah.
Wow. Just a bad. I don't know.
It was a wacky day. Day.
So for that game, the Steelers and Ravens, 3.5, I was on the Steelers, plus 3.5 at, -3, you're leaning Ravens. But Tyler Huntley, when he played against the Bears, he looked great.
He looked great versus the Rams.
And then against the Steelers, just did not look good at all. So, but yeah, credit to the Steelers.
Every time those guys play, every game looks like a 17-14. Everything's like a 3, just a battle. Like every inch is you're sacrificing your life just to go to get that first down when those guys play. And even with bad teams, it's like one guy's good, even when one team's really good, one team's really bad, it's always the same where it comes down to like that last possession.
Right, of course, the Titans too, doing it without Derrick Henry. They're looking good, well coached, good defense, and looking probably at another rematch between the Chiefs and Titans, I would say would be probably the favorite for the AFC Championship.
That'd be a good matchup.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I think it was the same matchup a couple of years ago. But Derrick Henry, is he gone, or is there a chance he can come back?
I think he's playing.
Yeah,
he should be playing, right?
He's got 2 weeks off, so he's gonna be ready to go.
They were saying they were surprised they didn't play him on Sunday for a half just to get his legs under him.
Yeah, all right.
I want him to play.
I want if he's gonna get hurt, throw him out there in the playoffs. So I'm gonna get hurt at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
don't get him hurt before the playoffs. People would lose their minds.
Yeah. I'll tell you, half a mind to place a bet on the Titans to win the AFC at this point. I don't know what the odds are, but if Henry's going to be back, but
they'll still be. I mean, they'll be a dog to Kansas City probably. I mean, right? They'll probably be a pick on the one. Kansas City will be favored because of Kansas City.
Yep.
Even if they face Buffalo, I mean, or they might be a dog or whoever. I don't think the respect is there without Henry. People think Tannehill's garbage. And he's had some ups and downs. He's had his ups and downs this year, But
he needs Julio to play, plain and simple. If Julio plays, they're a contender. If Julio doesn't play, they're a pretender.
Well, he's a good, the second kind of guy. You got to kind of respect it a little bit, but they know he's more of a decoy than anything.
Exactly.
Kind of keep him a little bit honest on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
And then the NFC picture, of course, you got the Packers on the bye, and then the Buccaneers, of course, with Tom Brady. With the defense, though, worries me. And Tampa, not difficult to score on, not like the last year's defensive team, and a bunch of other maybes in the NFC. But tonight we've got Georgia at Alabama, and man, my initial thought was, pretty hard to beat a team 2 times in a row. You got Alabama put a little hurting on them last time, but like we said, that 65 points in the last game, Anthony and I were talking before the show, 14 of those points came when Georgia went forward on turned the ball over on downs. So without that, might have been 51 points. Anthony, what are you thinking about this game? Which way are you leaning? Any kind of
this
side
game
total?
Could go both ways. I mean, I really don't see another Alabama blowout. I think it's going to be neck to neck, like in the past national championships. And it's going to come down to probably the last 5 minutes of the game. Who has the best time possession, really, and ball control? Jalen Hurts, I mean, he threw a lot of balls. He had a career game versus Georgia early in the year. But how many times did he throw in double coverage, triple coverage? He got away with it.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
I know you were teaching that to me today earlier. I'm like, we talk about the Eagles?
So, Bryce Young. I mean, he reminds me of Bryce. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts. But Bryce Young, I mean, he got away with it. But I don't know if he's going to get away with it this time around. But I also am not sold on Kirby Smart. I mean, I think Nick Saban just has him in his palm of his hand. So, I mean, my lean is Alabama, but I'm not sold on their defense. Their defense worries me.
Sean, Nick Saban, 25-1 against his former coaches. This one loss came this year at Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher beat Alabama this year. Fading Nick Saban isn't something you make a lot of money on. But what are your thoughts? Who's got the advantage coaching? Who's got the advantage at quarterback?
Well, I mean, coaching is Alabama by a country mile. I mean, how do you even say who's better than that guy? You can't. And yeah, 25-1 versus assistants. But let's be honest. You leave him, you're going to a team that's not as good. So everybody's going to a worse team, except for probably Kirby, right? I mean, Georgia's talent-wise, they're probably just there or right below talent-wise. They're always up there. And then fading him, I was talking about it to my friend earlier. I'm like, okay, you could talk about them as an underdog. And this year, and I think 2 or 3 years ago, they beat Georgia again. They were an underdog Georgia. I think they beat them like 38-10 or whatever. But before that, you're going back to 2007, 2008. So, again, throw those out the window. That was him in his second year. It does not count. Yep. Recent history, yeah. And how do you even not take 3 points? It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's Alabama. But as I mentioned, like the defense, you were down 10-0. You score a 65-yard touchdown pass. Kind of changed the momentum of the game. You got a couple turnovers on the downs. You got to pick 6. That's 21 points you got not handed to you. You still got to get the other, convert from their turnover on downs to a touchdown, but you kind of, it helps you out a little bit along the way. And I don't know if you're going to get that this game. I mean, is Kirby going to choke? Is the team going to choke? Like, you can't get these guys? I don't know. I think both teams came in off of a pretty easy cakewalk kind of game. They look like tune-ups. It wasn't even close. Alabama looked like they were playing the half speed. They weren't like, oh, this is, we don't have to do nothing here. We just hand the ball off. I mean,
they had it easy.
And Georgia came out like, oh, we're going to show you how good we are. And boom, that game was over in the first quarter. And I had 9 points to Michigan. I'm like, oh boy, let me get out of this one here. It's like, what happened? You figured they'd show up a little bit. They got some talent. They haven't been anywhere. Their coach needs to prove himself. That didn't happen. But underwise, it was 53, 50, now it's down to 52 and a half-ish, I guess, in that area. I'm going to go under. I mean, we saw no run game last time out of Georgia. And it wasn't like they were totally out of it. They had a lead, and then it was kind of back forth. Couldn't get anything going. Look, I mean, what, they have 100 yards rushing? Not even. And Alabama got them through the air. I don't think they'll be able to take advantage of the air like they did last time. I think Georgia's going to be ready for that, Yep. And who's that? Michi? Like, that guy's a pretty good, receiver. Obviously, next man up, it is Alabama, but I think it's a big loss. It's not. You're not playing Cincinnati now. Now you're going against Georgia and a guy who you're going to be seeing in the NFL on Sunday. I mean, whatever. So under for me here, yeah. And if I think as much as the line is 3, I think somebody probably wins by 10 because it's going to be like someone's up by 4 or it's 14. So it's going to get to that near double digits. I don't think it's going to be like 17, 16, 24, 23, like right there. I think it's going to be spread out a little bit where it's a good game. But next thing you know, it's a 10-point win by somebody. You're like, I can't believe they won by 11 or whatever.
Yeah, maybe playing a first quarter under, first half under too as well, without any of those, going for it and fourth down at the end of the game. Yeah, slip in under the under.
I love the first quarter under.
I was gonna say first quarter under could be feel themselves out. Georgia's going to come out and establish the run. Unless he's going to flip and be like, you know what, we're going to come out here and chuck the ball. And maybe the guy threw for 350 yards last game. So, who knows? You don't know with these guys. It's, they could pull out the bag of tricks. We saw a lot of bag of tricks yesterday in the NFL. I mean, I saw so many flea flickers and halfback options. It was insane. It was like, yeah, baby. It was like a college football Saturday watching that.
Stetson Bennett, the quarterback for Georgia, going to have to make some plays today. If Alabama's front seven, still the same front seven, Stetson Bennett and Bryce Young, who's got the advantage at quarterback, Anthony?
I got to go with Bryce Young just because I don't believe Stetson Bennett can throw the big throws when he needs to. I mean, he's only played 2 really strong teams. He played Alabama, and I can't remember to say. I know he played a really good team, but he struggled in that game. And he struggled in Alabama. He lost, missed wide open receivers. I think that's the weakness for Georgia. If Georgia just continues to run the ball, that's Alabama's defense's weakness is running the ball, just pound the ball. Like, that's how like in some teams, that's their strength. Like the Colts, if they would have just pounded Jonathan Taylor the entire game, they would have breezed through Jacksonville because Jacksonville can't stop the run if their life depended on it. So I think Georgia just controls the ball in the ground game, opens up the air game, they got a great chance of winning it.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, minus 2.5, I lean Georgia, plus 3.5, I lean Alabama, because I do think it'll be a close game, unless, like Sean says, in the second half,
I don't think Stetson Bennett, if he has to throw the ball to win, I don't believe in him. But I do believe Bryce Young can because Nick Saban's got the play calls to the T to fit his comfortable style. But I don't believe in Stetson Bennett when it comes to throwing the ball with the game on the line.
It's so difficult. You got 2 of the top defenses in college football and 2 almost top offenses in college football too. It really should be a legendary game tonight. I'm looking forward to watching the game. Let's see.
The 2 best teams of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one. I mean, who's gonna say anything? What team was gonna be? I mean, people are gonna come out here and say Ohio State. I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't know.
We got the 2 best.
I mean, you want to put them out there? I mean, he threw a clunker up there against Oregon, which again, that was that kid's second. What was his second game starting? All right, I could. We've seen teams lose. We saw Alabama lose on the road. We saw Georgia lose to this team. So I mean, the losses, but I don't know. I mean, you might want to say them. I can't. I think Georgia was the best team coming into the season, and Bama is always going to be good, even though they got to reload. But you mentioned Bennett. The guy, he did come out with 340 when they were down a little bit. So I'm not. His thing is he'll put up numbers if they're behind.
If they're winning.
And then they have to run the ball. They had guys running for 30 yards. That's not doing it. You got to get through that defensive line for Alabama. That's their game.
It's doable.
We got to bash you, and you got to stick with it. You can't be going, well, all right, first down, second. Then it's like 3rd and 8, and you're going to throw the ball. No, then it's a 3 and out. Keep running it. Maybe he breaks it. Do a draw play. I don't know. Switch it up a little bit. Do a halfback screen. This team, Bennett's a good enough quarterback where he should be able to beat this team. I mean, there's enough other guys around him. Get it done. You're not the first pick in the draft, but you're good enough to be a 4th-round pick going into the NFL when you graduate. He'll be a backup somewhere. Let's be honest.
Right. Any
prop they got to get pressure on Bryce. They got to get pressure. I mean, you can't let him throw like he did the other game, and they were not ready for that. They were like, "What's happening here?" He's quick stop, 400 yards passing. No, they got to get it. Those guys, the dogs, got to get on it. Literally and figuratively, get in there. What are you doing, defense? Get on that guy. I don't care. If I'm the coach, I'm like, I don't care if we got to take a personal foul early. Get to that guy and let him know he's getting hit today.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. You're going to get hit. We're coming at you. He needs happy feet. You can't let him sit that back there and throw it on like nothing's going to happen to him.
Georgia,
sometimes you got to hit the guy and take the penalty. Be like, we're coming for you, kid. If we get it, whatever. You can't be comfortable back there because he's going to torture for 420 like he did last game.
Yeah.
Georgia needs to come out firing. If they come out and they're down 7-0, it could be game.
Put a
over
fork in him. That's it. That is it.
So,
Live bet Bama because that's going to be 38-7.
Yeah. Georgia needs to establish it from the first kickoff to the second.
Yeah. I mean, if they come in the first quarter, they're behind the first quarter.
That's it.
That's it. Turn it off. It's going to be a rout because
that's where I come from. I don't believe in Stetson Bennett with the game on the line. I don't think he can come from behind.
No, I mean, look, 0-0 in the first. It's a close game.
Yeah,
it's one thing early. If it's 10-7, something low, even in the 20. If it's some kind of locked-in game, different ball game going into second, third quarter. But out of the first quarter, they get down early. I got to see them respond. They need some kind of response.
So, which team do you trust more to come from behind?
Alabama.
You got to say Alabama.
So it makes sense to take Alabama plus a little points in your pocket, but
there's
look at the money though. Look at the money and the number of bets. Everybody's on Alabama, and the line hasn't moved at all.
But you also
2.5 the entire time.
Look at the entire season. I mean, firsthand, Tooch. We rode Georgia's spread the entire season practically.
Yep.
We made a killing.
Yeah,
but their spreads, they were up big at halftime every single game. They never played from behind. I think they played from behind one game, and that was Alabama. Yeah. And we know how that turned out. So
and they were ahead that game first. They were winning 10-0 before they fell behind. I mean,
that's the crazy thing. That's right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
isn't it hard to believe that it might be a repeat of last game though?
Could be. It could very well be.
Turnovers.
Yeah.
That's I say it's a lot. I'm not a huge sitting around watching a lot of games. This one's like I got to watch this one because I think this is going to be because not as I'm a huge in-game bettor either, but this is one I might have to jump in game because I could see it either going sailing over or just going straight under and then somebody in a blowout win.
If Georgia comes out firing with a touchdown right out of the gate, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad bet to take Bama plus the points right out of the gate.
Yeah, then you're going from 3, you're getting more,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's worth to see what the line is, Yep.
If
you can get +7 on Alabama, I mean, I'll take that and run.
Yep, absolutely.
There you go. All right, you heard it here. Great advice from two of the best. What do you say we give away a free play, Anthony and Sean?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, a free play. Georgia, Alabama under 52.5. I like this play too. I mean, if these two defenses come out, you know, and they're feeling each other out in the first quarter, first half, I like the under. That was my first initial lean. Why do you guys think? Why do you guys like the under? Just real quick before we sign off.
Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm going to say I think it's going to be a tight game. Georgia's pressure's on, so you're going to see.
Yep.
They're going to want to run it. Yeah. Maybe they break them out. Who knows? And it's maybe they get through there and it's a fast score for them, 14-0. It's 14-7 first quarter. I don't think so. I think it's going to be we'll feel things out here. We're ready for the pass. There'll be, maybe Bama runs a little bit more here because they're playing so much more worried about getting burned in the secondary. So, again, run that ball. That's fine. That's clock. Just keep spinning, baby. That's all we want. So, I think a defensive game, ugly game, and ugly by them could be, 30-14 still an under. I'm just saying it's going to be one of those things. I think with the way these coaches are, I think Kirby's definitely going to want to be conservative and be like, I don't want to get into a shootout here.
Yep. Both teams,
happened and they lost.
They just saw each other. They know what little bit of what to expect. Anthony, why do you like the under?
I don't think Georgia, number one, can win in a shootout, number one, because their focus is the running game. So that means Stetson Bennett has to be throwing the ball 40, 50 times. They're not going to do that. They can't win in a shootout. They're going to focus on ground game. That's their number. If they're smart, and Kirby Smart actually knows how to coach this game, he's going to pound the ball. And just like he said, tick-tock, tick-tock, I love the under 10.5 first quarter. That's what I'm going to give out for my free play. So it goes along with the under 52.5.
Yeah.
I think the first quarter is going to be boring as shit, and it's going to be like a 6-3. I don't see any touchdowns in the first quarter. I mean, that's my prediction.
I don't want 6-3. I don't want 6-3. That's like 2 scores.
Yeah, I just don't see a lot of scoring, and I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think these defenses are too good, especially Georgia. Their defense is phenomenal, and Bama has to step up their defense because I don't believe Bama's defense is as good as Georgia's. It's just Georgia had a bad game. So, I mean, it's a very, very tough game all in all, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, I'm right there with Sean. I do think it's going to be an under.
All right. We heard it here. I want to thank both you guys for dropping by. Sean, thanks again for coming by and helping us out with the national championship college football.
So, I can't believe college football over.
So,
we got March Madness, though, in a month and a half.
We got March Madness coming. Hopefully you come back. We got NFL playoffs. I love college basketball. That's my favorite. Super Bowl, all that stuff. Good stuff coming back. All right, Anthony, thanks again, too, for helping out here. Yep. And I'll talk to you guys both later.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you.
All right.
Yep. Have a good one.
And I'm the team captain. He's the preview, and I'm the main attraction. Unstoppable, unconquerable, on top of the world, accomplishing the impossible. Unstoppable, unconquerable, on top of the world, accomplishing the impossible. Invincible hustle, mighty desire to conspire, to transpire, to